Welcome back. This is Rabith, and today we are going to be summarizing Module 18, Real Estate Salesperson Program, delivered by Humber. If you've checked out my other videos, thank you. If not, please go and check them out. Hope those videos help you. So let's get started with Lesson 1 in Module 18. They talk about complete an agreement of purchase and sale with conditions. Okay, so in the summary they say identify the steps required to draft an offer that includes conditions. To ensure dates align, you will need to identify key dates when drafting an offer. The offer plan should itemize these 5 dates in the following chronological order: offer date, irrevocable, the expiry of conditions, conditional date, requisition, title search date, and completion or closing date. So in that order. For Schedule A, which is a part of every offer, you will need to itemize the required clauses for the offer. A clause identifying the balance due on completion must be included in every offer. Other clauses and conditions, such as obtaining financing and property inspection, are also added to a Schedule A. What is requisition? Requisition is an inquiry, typically referred as a requisition letter, prepared by the buyer's solicitor to the seller's solicitor concerning the title matters. Then they talk about stack conditions to simplify the clause wording on an offer. Stacking refers to a way of grouping and writing conditions that are required to be fulfilled by the same date. With stacking, the party responsible for completing the conditions is clear. There is a single fulfillment or waiver date for multiple conditions. Stacking conditions avoids repetitive language for several different clauses. And that was the lesson summary. Let's just go over the lesson, see if we can find information that we might like. So, review clauses. To assess the impact on pre-printed clauses and wordings, carefully review the clauses you add to a schedule. Be precise. Avoid vague wording and be specific and precise as possible. Group clauses. Where possible, simplify by grouping similar requirements. For example, the buyer of a rental property might want to include a review or a confirmation of the following items: tenant records, rental amounts, fire safety issues, building code compliance. You might group these items under one condition that states the property meets all the requirements. Be conscious. Reduce wordiness and avoid vague clauses. Red draft offer. If necessary, red draft an offer to clarify clauses and present them in logical sequence. Stacking. Many salespersons find it efficient to consolidate or stack conditions in offer. Stacking refers to a way of grouping and writing conditions that are required to be fulfilled by the same date. For example, you might stack financing, insurance, and lawyers' approval clauses that require the same 5 to 7 days. When you include these conditions separately, they can clutter the offer, making it overly long and more difficult to understand. When stacking these conditions, you use bulletins to group the conditions into a block, and remove wordiness to avoid repetitive language. With stacking, the party responsible for completing the conditions is clear. There is a single fulfillment or waiver date for multiple conditions. Stacking conditions avoids repetitive language for several different clauses. Okay, just so we know what's up. Ooh, I know I just read this. I literally read this. Drag each item to its appropriate area and click submit. I would say the offer date, the requisition date, this one, completion date, and this. Please don't judge me if I get this wrong. I know I just literally said this. That's oh my god. Let's see why. The irrevocable date is the date offer which the offer is no longer valid. During that time, the party making the offer cannot withdraw the offer. Okay. requisition date. Sorry. The date of expiry of conditions is the last date on which the conditions can be fulfilled or waived. Otherwise, the offer becomes null and void. And the last one is the requisition date is the date by which the title search must be completed and any objections to the title be brought to the seller's attention. Okay, I did not do as well as I thought I would do, but let's move on. I need to study more. Okay, we're gonna skip all this because there's nothing here, and they just tell you what to do on the what you can do on the agreement of purchase and sale. How do you complete it? Okay, so we already know you can go through this all on your own, and we're gonna move on to lesson 2. Lesson 2 is complete a counter offer. Complete a counter offer. So record keeping, all offers must be in writing and signed for the offer to be valid. Retaining copies of the offer is regulated under REBA. An accepted offer must be kept in its entirety for 6 years. Additional requirements apply to the seller's brokerage only if an offer is unsuccessful. For every written offer that you receive on behalf of a seller, whether it's a buyer's first offer or an offer with changes made during negotiations, the offer is considered a separate offer and the seller's brokerage is required to retain a copy. If the offer is not accepted, that is the offer is either rejected or countered. The seller's brokerage must retain a copy of the offer in its entirety for 1 year from the date the offer is signed by the buyer. Under certain conditions, the seller's brokerage may keep a summary document rather than an unaccepted offer. Legibility requirements. The Code of Ethics requires all the offers to be legible. This is to ensure the term This is to ensure the terms agreed to the parties are clearly displayed and readable. Countering an offer. A counter offer is completed in one of 3 ways: amend the original offer, draft a new offer, or prepare a counter offer form. Countering an offer by amending the original offer includes ruling out any term that is not acceptable and inserting any term as part of the counter offer. All changes are initialed by the party to indicate agreement with the amended term. Typical changes in the counter offer. Although any term of an agreement of purchase and sale can be changed by the seller or a buyer, when completing a counter offer, there are some terms which typically become part of the negotiations. These terms include the purchase price, a change of completion date, schedules included or fixtures excluded from the sale of the property. Other typical changes include the amount of the deposit or revisions, inclusions or deletions onto a condition, or other term included on Schedule A. Changes required in a counter offer. When a counter offer is being made, specific changes to the offer must be completed. The irrevocability. God damn, the irrevocability. Oh my god, I know you guys hate me for this, but sorry. The irrevocability. Yo, why can't I pronounce this? Hold on. The irrevocability. Sorry. Okay, I'm just gonna skip this. You guys can read that. The blank clause will require a change to the term seller and buyer, as this indicates who the offer is coming from. Also, confirm the time and date for the offer's irrevocability is valid. I got it. If a counter offer includes a change to the purchase price and or the deposit, that change will impact the amount identified on Schedule A for the balance due on completion. The party making the counter offer must initial each change to identify consent to the change. Okay. That was not the best part of my reading, but okay, let's move on. Accepting a counter offer. To accept a counteroffer, the party must place their initial by every change made by the other party. This initialing indicates acceptance of those revised terms. Once an offer is accepted, additional signing is completed by the party accepting the offer, including confirmation of acceptance and acknowledgement. The remuneration or commission trust agreement is signed by the salesperson representing their brokerage when there is both a listing brokerage and a cooperating brokerage. A copy of the accepted offer must be provided to each seller and each buyer as soon as possible. A copy is also retained by each brokerage. Lesson 2 completed. Let's move on to lesson 3. Working with competing offers. Required disclosures. When a seller receives competing offers, the following disclosures are required by the seller's salesperson to every buyer who has submitted an offer. The number of offers received, but not the contents of any offer. Any remuneration agreement with the seller that might impact whether a buyer's offer is accepted. The representation status when a brokerage is operating under the multiple representation. The nature of the relationship to each seller and buyer when the brokerage is representing or providing services to more than one seller or buyer for the same trade. Risks and strategies for buyers when working with multiple offers. Risks for buyers include offering a price for a property that cannot be financed or is above appraised value, relying on a pre-approval for a purchase but finding out before closing that circumstances have impacted the approval, not including conditions meant to protect the buyer, such as a property inspection. Certain strategies can be used by a buyer to increase the appeal of their offer while not being exposed to the same level of risk. Strategies to consider for buyer include making their first offer their best offer, ensuring the marketplace has been analyzed to ensure the offer reflects the current conditions, obtaining a pre-approved mortgage, making a large deposit with a certified check, providing the seller with proof of funds along with any offer, being flexible for the completion date, ensuring conditions are appropriately worded and the time period for due diligence is reasonable, minimizing the chattels included, ensuring the irrevocable time period is reasonable and appropriate based on market conditions. Risks and strategies for sellers when working with multiple offers. Risks for a seller include accepting offers with conditions if the buyer cannot fulfill the condition, countering an offer which could result in the buyer not accepting the offer, rejecting the offers which could result in buyers deciding to no longer participate in the offer process. Certain strategies can be used by a seller when assessing the strength of various offers being received at the same time. Strategies to consider for a seller include using the irrevocable period to the best advantage of the seller while ensuring the irrevocability of others' offers is monitored. Set an offer presentation time to allow for more offers to be obtained, providing as much information about the property as possible to allow buyers to make a fully informed decisions about the property. Leading practices when working with buyers. Prepare the buyer for making an offer by educating the buyer on the process, the terms of the agreement of purchase and sale, the best strategies for their offers, and associated risk. Communicate with the listing salesperson to stay informed on the process, register and present your buyer's offer, and be available for a quick revision for an offer. Leading practices for a salesperson working with a seller. Prepare the seller for reviewing offers by ensuring the seller understands the obligation related to accepting an offer, discussing the offer process and how multiple offers will be addressed, and educating the seller on strategies for dealing with offers and associated risks. These are the summary practice activities we're not going to do. Let's click over to the module summary and see if we can find something useful. But I'm pretty sure we've been through all that. Okay, so just to summarize again, The offer plan should itemize these 5 dates in the following chronological order: offer date, irrevocable expiry of conditions, conditional date, requisition, title of search date, and completion or closing date. So one more time: offer date, irrevocable expiry of conditions dash conditional date, requisition dash title search date, and completion of closing date. Okay. For Schedule A, which is part of every offer, you will need to itemize the required clauses for the offer. A clause identifying the balance due on completion must be included in every offer. Other clauses and conditions, such as obtaining financing and property inspection, are also added to Schedule A. Let's move on to completing an offer. All offers must be in writing and signed for the offer to be valid. Retaining copies of offer is regulated under REBA. The Code of Ethics require all offers to be legible. The counteroffer is completed in one of 3 ways: amend the original offer, draft a new offer, or prepare a counteroffer. Okay. Let's move on to working with competing offers. A competing offer is when more than one buyer places an offer on a property at the same time. These situations represent a new challenge for sellers and buyers and places additional obligations on brokerage. The Code of Ethics includes specific requirements for the seller's brokerage in a completing offer situation. Compliance with these requirements is important to ensure all parties are treated with fairness and honesty. Competing offers can also tempt buyers to place offer without the same level of due diligence. Okay, so that was a summary of Module 18. I hope you like it. I hope you learned something, and stay tuned for Module 19. I'll be back soon. Have a good night. Bye.